9-3-25, day 2 of simplifying radicals with imaginary numbers. All right, quick note to take. You may want to pause the video if you're uncertain about your perfect squares in red and their square roots in blue, as this is the 1-2 punch in simplifying these radicals with imaginary numbers. All right, for number 1 here, we have the square root of negative 80. All right, is 80 a perfect square? Well, let's check. Do we see an 80 in red? It jumps from 64 to 81. Unfortunately, 80 is not a perfect square. So what do we need to do? We need to find the greatest perfect square that goes into our imaginary number of negative 80 here. All right, we can do this just by trial and error. Okay, so I know that 80 divided by 64, well, that's not going to work, and neither is 49. And if we're unsure, here's what we can do. 80 divided by, well, let's work backwards down the number line. Yes, the only rule is it begins. 80 divided by 36. Oh, no, we get a decimal. Doesn't work. 80 divided by 25. Decimal again doesn't work. How about 80 divided by 16? Oh, whole number. That's what we're looking for. All right, we know that 16 is our perfect square. So now we're just going to set it equal to. All right, so the square root of negative 80 here is equal to the square root of 5 times, what perfect square do we use? 16? Oh, 5 times 16 is 80, but if we multiply that by negative 1, that would equal negative 80. So the square root of negative 80 is equal to the square root of 5 times 16 times negative 1. Step 2, square roots of perfect squares on outside, and what remains inside stays inside for our answer. Oh, wonderful. Well, let's see, what's the square root of 16? Well, if the square roots are in blue, let's find 16 in red, and right below is its square root of 4. And if we look down, negative 1, square root is, great job, class, yes, it's I. And we've used the negative 1 and 16, and what's left inside stays inside. Circle your answer. All right, number 2, don't frown. Don't be blue. It's all happy from here. All right, so number 2, square root of negative 147. All right, well, 147 is not a perfect square because I know 12 times 12 is 144 and 13 times 13 is 169, and that's not going to work. So let's just try. Let's just say we're uncertain. Well, we know it's not going to be 100. Let's start at 81. 147 divided by 81, unfortunately, it's a decimal. What's our next perfect square? Take a look. Oh, it's a 64 divided by 64. Unfortunately, not going to work. And if we continue backwards down that number line, yes, we will do 147 divided by 49. Do we have a winner? We do, because we have a whole number. No more decimals. Great job. So 49 will work. So the square root of negative 147 is equal to the square root of 3 times 49 times negative 1. And again, we're just going to go to our answer here. Square roots of perfect squares on outside, and what remains inside stays inside. And if we go to our chart, the square root of 49 is wonderful. It's 7. And we always know now that the square root of negative 1 is simply I. And what have we not used? Yes, it's the square root of 3. Go ahead and circle your answer. Let's call it a vid. Let's dominate. Let's crush. Work through these. Practice builds proficiency. Repetition strengthens retention. Let's go.